There is an old tale goes that Herne the hunter, sometime a keeper here in Windsor Forest, doth all the winter time at still midnight walk round about an oak with great ragged horns. And there he blasts the tree, and takes the cattle, and makes milk kine yield blood, and shakes a chain in the most hideous and dreadful manner. You have heard of such a spirit, and well you know the superstitious idle-headed elf received and did deliver to our age this tale of Herne the hunter for a truth. Welcome, one and all, to the library of Avalon. According to this somewhat orthodox account of my life, I, the bard, it seems, am industrious, upstanding, charismatic, and loved by all. This, in essence, is the legend of William Shakespeare. Most traditional biographies are similarly historically unfounded, spun from romantic mythology, rather than surviving records. Many aspects of my life are more a matter of legend than historical fact. From fragmentary records such as legal documents, parish registers, contemporary letters, diary extracts, a rough outline of my life has gradually emerged in the centuries since my death. It amounts to give you very little impression of me, the man. Although, initially, my life may seem unremarkable, a closer examination of the surviving records reveals many mysterious discrepancies. I would seem to have led two separate and very different lives, one as a London dramatist, the other as a Stratford grain merchant. Indeed, because I seem to have lacked the necessary experience to have written the plays accredited to me, others have been proposed as the true author. The first alternative author idea concerned my contemporary lawyer and politician, Sir Francis Bacon, although since your 19th century, Bacon's case has been squarely discredited. Since the first of your world wars, and what a barbaric term that is, two new alternative authors have been proposed for my plays, the Earls of Derby and Oxford. However, like Bacon, both cases have failed to produce anything more than contestable circumstantial evidence. After the second of your world wars, and how much more barbaric it is for there to have been two, a Canadian journalist seems to have published his conclusion that my plays had been the work of my fellow dramatist Christopher Marlowe. However, it seems highly unlikely that Marlowe was still alive by the time most of my plays were written. It can be seen that I began my writing career with Lord Strange's men, joining the Burbage Theatre in Shoreditch when the two companies amalgamated, 1590. A mere 3 years before dear old Marlowe met his end, at the point of a knife, in a tavern in Deptford. However, examine the evidence of this crime, and it suggests that through my colleagues Marlowe and Strange, I became involved with a group of seditious atheists, led by explorer, politician, Sir Walter Raleigh, no less. Parliamentary investigations into this group might explain my low profile in London, mightn't they? I could easily have become involved with Marlowe and Raleigh via the Stratford colleague, my publisher, Richard Field, in whose premises they met. So, examine how an association between myself and the Raleigh group answers a number of hitherto unsolved questions. Here we have a link between my life in Stratford and my life in London. Explain my entry into the world of theatre and offers a tenable scenario of my educational background. All evidence indicates I kept my work in London a secret in Stratford-on-Avon. The most likely solution is that I wish to protect my family, is it not? My association with members of Raleigh's group and their possible plans to overthrow First Minister William Cecil easily account for my actions and require no further explanation. Secretary of State Francis Walsingham recruited a number of poet-dramatists to act as spies and informants. By the time dear Marlowe met his demise, many of my closest colleagues were working in the service of dear Elizabeth secretly. Was I myself involved? One such agent, known as William Hall, appears a number of times in the Secretary of State's record. Each time the name occurs, there is a link to me. Far from anyone else using my name as a concealment, was I using the name of another, William Hall, to cover my work for the Queen in a cloak of secrecy. When James succeeded to the throne, Walter Raleigh was convicted of a plot to murder the king. The chief informant against the conspirators appears to have been a certain man named William Hall. If I was that man, and it seems that Raleigh spent years in prison as a result of Hall's work. After spending 13 years in the Tower of London, Raleigh was released just 6 days before I made my will. Did I know of Marley's release? Consider myself in danger of vengeance? Sorry, what's that? No. I'm not going to tell you. These are my secrets. Don't you agree, Yorick, my dear fellow? Now my charms are all o'erthrown, and what strength I have's mine own, which is most faint. Now 'tis true I must be here confined by you, or sent to Naples. Let me not, since I have my dukedom got, and pardoned the deceiver, dwell in this bare island by your spell. But release me from my bands by the strength of your good hands. Gentle breath of yours my sails must fill, or else my project fails. 'Twas to please, now I want spirits to enforce, arts to enchant, and my ending is despair, unless I be relieved by prayer, which pardons so that it assaults mercy itself, frees all faults, as you from crimes would pardoned be, let your indulgence set me free.